Why Raya and the Last Dragon is an epic queer love story. Kind of. Shalom merbays! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. If you are new here, my name is Mermaid Zelda / MZ, or whatever you want to call me. And that's right, I am a mermaid, a trained actor, a Disney princess impersonator, and also a bicon. A bicon is a bisexual icon, in case you didn't know. And no, nobody actually calls me that, but they will. One day. If you're anything like me, then you have been super excited for the release of Raya and the Last Dragon for months now, and it is finally here at last. New Disney content. Thank you Disney gods for the content. Spoiler alert, if you have not yet seen the movie, I would recommend you go and watch it first, pause this video, add it to your saved videos, come back later so that you're all caught up. There will be some light spoilers ahead, so you have been warned, okay? Actually, there's some pretty heavy spoilers ahead, so if you care about spoilers, I would recommend going and watching the movie. It is available on Disney Plus and in theaters. But for real, the movie is so freaking good. I was not disappointed at all. The world building is amazing. We have these super funny, lovable, memorable characters. We have the comedian Awkwafina voicing this adorable dragon named Sisu. We have two queer, badass, sword-fighting Disney princesses.
White. What?
That's right, Disney has finally given us two queer, gay, lesbian, bi, whatever they may be, princesses. Kind of. Hear me out. The movie begins and we learn that this stunning South Asian-inspired land called Kumandra has been divided into 5 clans. The 5 clans being Fang, Spine, Heart, Tail, and Talon. Kumandra was divided into these 5 clans after the evil force of the movie called the Drun, which is this super spooky purple entity that goes around and is turning everybody into stone. Drun? Droon? Drun. I think it's Drun.
Nope, it's Droon. Sorry guys, I get it wrong for the whole video. My bad.
Before the last dragon, Sisu, disappeared, she used the last of her magic to create the dragon orb. And this orb vanquished the Drun once and for all, turning all of the people who had turned into stone, not into stone. All except for the dragons. Sisu also disappeared and her whereabouts were unknown. The only bit of dragon magic left was the dragon orb, and it became the property / it was under the protection of Heart, one of the 5 clans of previously known as Kumandra. 500 years later, and we meet Raya, your not so typical badass sword-fighting Disney princess who is a sworn protector of the dragon orb. She is clever, resourceful, feisty, she's a great warrior, she has an adorable little sidekick named Tuk Tuk, and she is, after all, a princess of Heart. About 20 minutes into the movie, we meet yet another Disney princess named Namaari. She is a princess of Fang. Up until this point, the 5 clans haven't exactly been on talking terms. They kind of saw Heart as being this selfish kingdom using the dragon magic for themselves to gain prosperity, when in fact that wasn't really true. The reason that the lands weren't thriving is because none of them were actually working together anymore. Raya's father / Ba / the chief of Heart wanted to bring all of the clans together and beat Kumandra once more. This creates the opportunity for Raya to meet Namaari, and they hit it off right away.
I'm Namaari of Fang. Hi, Namaari. I'm Raya.
Like, just, you can see the little look in their eyes, the little smile that they share, and it's like, woof! So Namaari, she's got like this asymmetrical haircut with the buzzed side of her head. You know, they're 12 years old, but we've seen 12-year-olds in Disney movies have love interests before, you know, crushes, if you will. So it's not weird or gross for me to say that. You can just see that they have chemistry. They hit it off right away. They have so much in common. They both absolutely are obsessed with dragons.
Is that Sisu?
Sorry, yeah, I might be a little bit of a dragon nerd.
Hey, I'm the one wearing the Sisu fan necklace. Come on. Have you eaten yet?
They are both being raised by single parents, and they are both badass warrior princesses. Namari even gives Raya her dragon necklace, which is one of her prized possessions. You could just feel the love in the air, and you could tell that these two girls would be such a good match together as, you know, best friends or potentially lovers later on. I was just sitting on the edge of my seat like, oh my god, please Disney, please let this be the movie that we have two gay Disney princesses, okay? I've waited long enough until Namari stabs her in the back, tries to steal the dragon stone, ends up breaking it, and ultimately brings the Drun back into the world, turning people into stone all over again. I had such high hopes, Disney. The dragon orb breaks into 5 convenient pieces, and each of the clans steals a piece for themselves, leaving Raya's ba to be turned into stone and her thrown into a river, just being like, what the heck am I supposed to do? Her first friend, her first crush, this girl who gave her a necklace, who they were hitting it off so well, has betrayed her. We skip to 6 years later, and it's not looking so hot for anybody. The Drun has pretty much turned almost everybody into stone, and anybody who hasn't been turned into stone is just very sad and upset at the loss of their friends and family. Now it's up to Raya to collect all 5 pieces of the dragon gem, find the last dragon Sisu, and once and for all vanquish the Drun, turning all of the stone people back into people. But someone else is also after the gem pieces. Any guesses who? It's our girl, Namari, who has now grown up to be a buff, toned, badass, sword-fighting princess with no floofy dresses in sight. And if you think I'm reaching by shipping Namari and Raya, just imagine for a second that Namari's character was a boy instead of a girl, okay? I think that every straight cisgendered movie watcher would automatically assume that this male character would be Raya's love interest down the line. The only difference is that this time the he is a she. Heck, even the voice actor of Raya, Kelly Marie Tran, says that she ships Raya and Namari and was the first person to do so. She fully supports the idea that Raya is gay. And I think that that is super important because she is the voice of Raya. She gives Raya life. And if she has thought from the first moment she read the script that Raya and Namari are a thing, then she brought that energy and those feelings into the booth while recording the parts of Raya. As an actor slash voice actor, we have all these things in mind when voicing a character. It's not just what's written on the page. In fact, it's so much more. You have to fill in all of the different blanks that your character is going through, all of the different struggles that they've had. Like, for example, what happened to Raya's mother? We have no idea. She's not even mentioned in the movie. But as a voice actor, you would want to have that in mind. So the fact that Kelly thought right away that Raya and Namari are an item just makes me really happy, and it kind of like solidifies the fact that they are an item and that Raya is gay just because the voice actor thinks so. Obviously, the character designers and the writers have a big part in the creation of Raya as well, and they don't outright say it in the movie, but I do want you to keep that in mind. So why do we only get a couple of brief handholds, shoulder touches, and sparkly eyes between these two women? Where is the goddamn confirmation, Disney? Well, I think the main problem is that Raya and the Last Dragon is an adventure movie and not a love story. Traditionally, all of the Disney princesses had love interests. We're talking Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, Belle, Ariel, Jasmine, Pocahontas, Mulan, to a lesser degree, I will admit, and I would even go as far to say that Mulan is a woke queer masterpiece in and of itself, but that's for a different video. Then we get Tiana and Rapunzel, and then everything changed in 2012 with the release of Brave. we got Merida, the first Disney princess in Disney's 75-year history of making princess movies, who does not have a love interest. Instead, Merida's movie is about how she defies the gender norms of her time period, and it's also about her very complicated mother-daughter relationship. She just wants Merida to grow up, get married, and be a lady. But that is not what Merida wants. All Merida wants to do is go on adventures, riding her horse, and shooting her bow and arrow. This was a huge step for Disney, and not everybody was happy about it. It left all the Karens in the theater saying, "But where's her Prince Charming?" After Brave, we got Frozen, and the Disney game was forever changed. Frozen had a nice little compromise for us where they gave us one Disney princess with a love interest and one Disney princess with superpowers. Seems like a fair trade to me. It was a huge hit, generating $1.28 billion at the box office and becoming Disney's most successful movie of all time, only to be beaten by Frozen 2 5 years later. Boom! Disney had created the most popular Disney princess slash queen slash spirit of all time, and she did not have a love interest. In fact, a lot of people like the idea that Elsa is queer herself, being either a lesbian or asexual. We all know that Let It Go and Show Yourself are kind of queer anthems because they really express the way a closeted queer person feels before and after finally accepting themselves. But again, that's for a different video. This opened up a lot of doors for the Disney writers. In the 21st century, kids don't just want princesses who wear floofy ball gowns and fall in love with the prince. We want action. We want superpowers. Not to say that there's no room for love interests anymore, because that's not the case. We love Flynn Rider, we love Kristoff, we love Naveen, but falling in love no longer has to be a Disney princess's main ambition in life. After Frozen, we got Moana in 2016, yet another princess who does not have a love interest. The only male character in her story that could potentially be her love interest is the demigod Maui, but there's a several thousand-year age gap there, so I think that one is probably for the best left as friends. Moana's movie is about a young girl who goes off on an adventure to find herself and save the world from the darkness that is taking over her home. It's actually a very similar concept to Raya and the Last Dragon, particularly the darkness and the drun, but the drun actually turns people into stone, so yeah. But the opening sequences of Moana and then Raya are super similar. There's definitely a sort of theme going on there. Moana didn't do quite as well at the box office, bringing in a modest $690 million, but it was still a big hit nonetheless. And that brings us to 2021 with Raya and the Last Dragon. However, unlike Merida, Elsa, and Moana, who have no hinted love interest in their stories at all, we get Raya and Namaari. While their relationship got off to a rocky start, the movie is filled with hints about these two characters potentially sharing more deeper feelings towards each other.
Look, I know how to push Namaari's buttons.
From their initial spark when meeting to their very flirtatious battle scenes.
Until a few months ago, I thought you were stone, but then someone stole Fang's dragon scroll.
Oh, is that why you're chasing me? And here I thought it was because you missed me.
You and the dragon gem pieces are coming with me.
My sword here says we're not.
This shouldn't take long.
To Raya calling Namaari Princess Undercut.
Hey there, Princess Undercut. Fancy meeting you here.
Oh my god, I died. How cute and gay is that? I can't. I love it.
Hey, come with me, Depla. I want to show you something.
Namaari.
What's drippin', Depla?
Did you need that, Depla?
Raya also kept the dragon pendant from Namaari for 6 years, even telling her that she tried to take good care of it.
I see you got my gift.
I never thought I'd see this again.
Well, I tried to take good care of it. You're not the only dragon nerd here.
Which seems like an odd thing to do, considering the person who gave her the necklace stabbed her in the back, got her father turned into stone, and essentially was the reason for the world ending. If it were me, and I really felt that this person was an enemy and I had no feelings towards them at all, I only hated them, I would have chucked that thing in the river. No way am I keeping it and taking good care of it. I don't know, that's just a detail, but I think that that's kind of important to mention as well, that Raya had this sentimental attachment to the gift that Namaari gave her. And maybe most of all, Raya trusts Namaari with the fate of the world at the end of the movie by giving her her piece of the dragon stone and then backing up to be turned into stone, hoping that her girl Namaari was gonna pull through and do the right thing. This moment is super emotional, and of course, Namaari has this little moment of being like, okay, no, I'm gonna peace out, but she looks back at Raya and her friends who have turned to stone, and she just has to do the right thing. She puts the dragon orb back together, goes and stands next to Raya, puts her hand on her shoulder, and then also turns into stone. As a queer Disney viewer who just really wants to see themselves represented in, you know, a mainstream Disney film, we have to look for the little details. Like a hand on the shoulder. If these two characters have no feelings for each other at all, in fact dislike each other, why would she put her hand on her shoulder, you know? She could have just stood on the other side, but she made the choice to go over to Raya and put her hand there. When they turned back, you know, at a stone, spoiler alert, the look that they shared together, the smile, the like tears, whew, my little gay heart, is too much, it's too much. Oh, they were so close. Disney came so close to just making all my dreams come true. I also have to point out Namaari's character design. She is a very toned, muscular warrior princess with the half-shaved head and asymmetrical haircut. This is a very traditionally lesbian or queer look for a woman to have. Not to say that no straight women have that kind of haircut or are toned, of course not, but it's just a very generic sort of queer look that, you know, a 50-year-old white mom might look at her and say, oh, do you think that she's a lesbian? It just seems like an interesting choice for Disney to make if they didn't want our minds to go to the place where Namaari and Raya could be a thing. I also wanted to point out that this is the first Disney princess film where the princesses don't wear dresses or skirts. Again, not saying that, you know, all straight women like to wear dresses and skirts, but it's just a distinction I wanted to make that kind of sets Raya and Namaari apart from all of the other Disney princesses. So then why, Disney? Why wouldn't you give us, you know, Raya and Namaari holding hands at the end of the film like they did when they first met as children? Why didn't we get to see them kiss or walk off in the sunset? I think there's a couple reasons for this. One being that the movie is already pretty long. It's an hour and 50 minutes of constant plot and story development. For most of the movie, Raya and Namaari do not like each other. They are enemies, in fact. So to make the jump from being enemies to lovers, maybe they just didn't have time to fully develop this as a romance in this movie. But I think that the biggest reason we don't get an official gay Disney princess is because of the world that we live in. While being gay and queer is getting more and more accepted all the time, particularly in the Western world, it's not like that everywhere. In fact, it's still illegal to be gay in quite a few countries around the world. You can serve jail time or even be executed for being gay. This is a super heartbreaking reality that is easy for us, you know, Canadians, Americans to forget. Not everybody thinks that having a gay Disney princess is a good thing. They think that that's perverted and bad because it's gonna turn the kids gay.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
Why would you have a lesbian movie for kids when kids aren't gay, but you're okay with making straight relationships for kids? Because that's completely different.
You know, it's just, it doesn't really make sense, but with the international audience that Disney has to kind of, you know, appease, As a world, as a whole, we are not in a place where Disney can really make a queer Disney princess and have people be okay with it.
How did this world get so broken?
In fact, many people would boycott Disney, they would burn merchandise, they would never consume Disney, content ever again, and Disney is not willing to fight that fight for us yet. As a queer person, I think that representation is so important, and it would really change people's lives if there was, a lesbian or queer Disney princess. For all the little girls out there to just see themselves represented, to see a princess fall in love with another princess and not feel broken. Because when all you see is a princess falling in love with a prince, and you don't feel that way, you feel like there's something wrong with you, when of course there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Disney is getting super close, and they're moving in the right direction, getting closer and closer all the time. The fact that we now have Namaari as a Disney princess, period, is a huge win. Because if you put Namaari next to, Belle, Cinderella, there's, some distinct differences. And a lot of, the more tomboyish little girls or queer little girls will still be able to see themselves in Namaari potentially. And Raya as well, of course. The voice actress of Raya says that she fully thinks that Raya is gay and supports that. So it is a win in a way. We are getting closer and closer all the time. I think Disney also hasn't made, a movie that centers around a gay or lesbian or trans protagonist, is that us queer people, we already love Disney, We don't see ourselves represented, but we still love the stories. We still consume the content and buy the merchandise and love to go to Disneyland and Disney World. They kind of get to have their cake and eat it too. They get to not make content specifically for us, but they still have us as loyal consumers. So I think Disney is giving us hints. They are leaving characters without love interests so that we can fill in the blanks in our minds and say, I think that Raya is gay, or I think that Elsa's gay, or I think that Merida is gay. And for now, that will just have to be enough. I sincerely hope that we get to see a confirmed gay Disney princess in my lifetime, and more so, I hope that I could voice her. What an honor and dream come true that would be. In the beginning of the film, Namaari tells Raya that in a different world, maybe they could have been friends.
In a different world, maybe we could have been friends.
But I would argue that if we lived in a different world, maybe they could have been more than friends. So what do you think, everybody? Are Raya and Namaari a canon couple? Do you think they're just friends? Do you think that I should go die for being queer? Let me know down in the comments below. But seriously, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are new here, and ring the bell icon so that you never miss one of my uploads. I make new videos here on my channel every single Friday-ish, and admittedly, this is not the typical content I normally make on my channel, although this was super fun, and as a Disney nerd, as an actor, as a film student, this is my shit. These are the kinds of videos that I like to watch, so if you enjoyed my take on Raya and the Last Dragon, and you would like to hear my thoughts on other Disney films or other films in general, then please give this video a big thumbs up and let me know down in the comments below. You can also follow me on Instagram at mermaidzelda and at emma.forth, and you can follow me on TikTok at mermaidzelda as well. I think that's it from me for today. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope that if you haven't already seen Raya and the Last Dragon, that I have now convinced you to go and watch it. Super good, highly recommend. And most importantly, I hope I will see you here next Friday-ish for a brand new video. Until next time, bye!